Buenos días.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. So let me introduce you. So Jonathan Del Arco, Isa Briones, Michelle Hurd, and Santiago Cabrera. Is that right? So the way we want to do this is that we want you to talk a little bit about the series and your character, and then we're going to open it for questions. And at the end, we're going to make a beautiful picture. All right? Okay, Jonathan, do you want to start?
Sure. You want me to just talk about my character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about the series.
Sure.
And then about your character.
I created this character when I was very young on Next Generation. And so I'm getting to recreate him now for Star Trek Picard. And that's been really exciting because we're getting to look at this alien race 20 years later. And a lot has changed, and a lot has happened in the world, in Picard's life, and in Hugh's life. And it's been an amazing experience. And I am so excited to be back in Latin America to talk about it. So, muchas gracias.
So we're a little bit different because we are new to this universe, but in a way, our characters, you guys have a past with people, but with my character, she's kind of brand new to everyone, which is kind of cool about her. She's a young woman entering a really exciting chapter of her life. Everything seems to be going really well until this horrible tragedy hits and turns her whole world upside down. And that is what sends her on this journey to find Picard, looking for answers, looking for an identity, looking for people to trust. And that kind of starts our whole storyline with Picard.
Yes. I play Ralphie, who's a very delicious character. She's imperfect, as we all are, perfectly imperfect. She has some vices that help her get through the day, as I'm sure some of you. She also has a history with Picard. They worked together in the past, and their relationship is very strained. I have a very complicated and strained relationship with the Federation as well. She's also a system analyst genius, hacking genius, security genius. I'm just a genius. And she's
Just like you, Michelle.
It's exactly right. And she's a little sarcastic.
Wait, Michelle,
Yes.
aren't you also in a comic book?
Oh, and I am in the Picard comic book. You guys have gotten it yet. You got? Did anyone? I just got to. My sister got it.
The first one that just came out, right?
The first one. Episode 1.
I think I sent it to you.
You sent it. He sent it to me. I was with my nephews, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in a comic book. Thank you. It's pretty cool.
What happens?
You have to buy the comic book.
I play Chris Rios, also ex-Starfleet, who has his demons as well. Friends with Rafi, maybe, they have a lot in common. But he has a dark past with Starfleet. Fell out with them, so he holds a grudge there. He's often buried, behind a book, and he's a pilot, and when he doesn't know, as opposed to Rafi, he doesn't know Picard, but of course knows of him, and given his relationship with Starfleet, it's an interesting first encounter.
Hi guys, this is Salvador Nogueira from Trek Brasilis and Folha de São Paulo newspaper here. I'm delighted first to see that you represent 4 countries here. And Star Trek is all about diversity and is all about hope. I would like you to talk a little bit how Picard is going to bring some hope, especially these days we're living in.
Yes, I love that you said that. I mean, it's one of the things I often speak about. And yes, look at this. The whole thing with Star Trek. I think from the very first episode back in the day, the original, which we don't realize until you sort of look at it, look back, is that it is about diversity. It is about hope. It is about inclusion and also immigration and otherism. And I think that's at this time in our world. We really need to have some kind of hope because there sure is a lot of otherism. There's a lot of, there's not a lot of love going around. And I think with our story, you will see, as in the majority of Star Trek worlds, the acknowledgement of the preciousness of life, of relationships, of humanity, of kindness, and told through the voices of diversity. I think that Picard's character in this sees that and is ignited because of a situation that happens, and he realizes he needs to step up and make right what was wrong. And we really do, through the arc of it, we touch upon all those sort of pieces and trying to bring hope and kindness and generosity and humanity back to the conversation.
I mean, Star Trek has always been that view of how the world could be, looking forward to how we can make it better, how we can progress. And I think what's so special about our show specifically is that we are all something. We have all been disillusioned by the system, by an institution, and that feeling broken and feeling disconnected from something, but then turning to each other to find a family and find hope in each other, and that's what brings the humanity in so intensely and so beautifully.
And to me, also Star Trek has always taken world issues and things that we've either dealt with in the past or in the present in context to science fiction and something entertaining, where Star Trek always was able to kind of dip into those issues. And I think with this one, we're like diving straight into a world that is very complicated, very broken, very in despair. And what better person to bring us hope than Picard, who is, a hero for the ages. So in that, I think we have a journey that we can make. But it is I would say, a fascinating, exciting, dark world that we're exploring. It isn't glossy in the way that you might imagine a science fiction show could be, or Star Trek in that sense. But I think it will bring people hope, and that we're in the struggle of trying to figure that out. How are we going to make choices to make the world better? And so I think it's going to be very exciting television for people.
Hi guys, I'm Mas Ross from Campeonato. My question is from the crew. I want to know how for you to work with Patrick Stewart.
And he immediately put me at ease. He is, as you said, a team player. He's an artist through and through. He's a good man. He's kind and generous and self-deprecating and funny. And many artists will tell you that when they do a job, the tone and tenor of a set starts with number one. And our number one is, phenomenal. And you could think, if there's anybody who's going to be like kind of a, I won't say, I'll say it, an asshole or whatever, you could be like that. It couldn't be farther. As soon as he walks on set, everybody's sort of like, you kind of inhale and you're sort of excited and you're maybe like, shaking, and he's just so disarming. He's so calm, and he's just, wants to know what everybody else is doing, and he wants to make the acting play area as calm and creative as possible. And as Santi said, I feel because he will continually tell you that this is an ensemble, and that what he loves about it is that it is an ensemble, that we rely on each other to tell this story. And I feel that his ease of working with us is infectious. And when you have someone who's so skilled and so comfortable, it inevitably makes you want to rise to the occasion. You want to do better. You want to challenge yourself and find a way to have that ease with that much confidence. So he makes all of us better in the most subtle, in the most generous, in the most loving way. He's a loving man, really.
I just think we all, I'm just going to say one thing, but I think we all have sat around in a circle being like, so what was your first scene with Patrick? Like, how did that, and all of us have basically the same story of just us being so nervous and him immediately just taking us in. I mean, the first time I could have fainted, but he held my hand in this scene. We had to hold hands and we had to hold for an airplane. And he just held my hand for a straight minute while we were waiting for this airplane to pass. And just looking in my eyes and like, I got you. So that's just him, who he is.
I was a naive 25-year-old when I walked into a Star Trek set, and there was Patrick Stewart and Whoopi Goldberg, and go do your work, kid. Surreal how like naive you are in your 20s, and you just think I'm as good as everyone else. I'm going to do my job, and that was an amazing experience. And then coming back, the biggest gift for me has been my friendship with him, and because I didn't really get to become his friend as a 24-year-old, and he was probably 50 at the time. But now we're like the same age, so ish. I mean, definitely mentally, he's the same age as the rest of us. And to get to work with him again, and to get to spend time, in the director's chairs, waiting for setups to happen, and just to be able to talk to him and get to know his life better and become his friend has been really, it's made the job. That enough would have been enough to say yes to the job. And then, of course, when you're on a soundstage with a brilliant actor who's giving you what you need and you're giving it back, I'm very, very excited for everyone to see the work that we got to do with him. So, incredibly grateful to have been in his presence.
Hi, Roberto from Pipoca School. The next generation started to talk more about philosophical questions that sci-fi usually does. And by the trailers of Picard, we see that the characters are dealing with their past, so maybe this will be the most intimate Star Trek that we see today.
I hope so. Well, what we have is definitely a new approach in the sense that, we're telling the story. It's like a 10-hour movie. We've got the novelist approach where it's one big story. So that makes it very, juicy. There's a lot of material there. And I think, back to Patrick, his influence of wanting to come back was because there was something new to say, something fresh, and there was a new story to tell that hadn't been told before. And it was great to have that, we all profit from all of that because we have such a great team of writers. The storytelling is just fantastic, and there's definitely, I'm as well sort of new to the sci-fi world, and you realize very quickly that, behind all the science fiction and, the futuristic and the costumes and the spaceships, that it's a reflection. It's a mirror to the present, really, at the end of the day, and that's a very exciting thing as an actor to be able to tell stories that are relevant today. And I think we do that.
Yeah, I would say, to your point that I think in our show, you will absolutely have a much more intimate relationship with the characters because you will see, I think, everybody incredibly vulnerable. There's going to be a moment where we're all very vulnerable, and that's all it is.
There's never a moment, I think, even though, we have this great captain, we have these people in authoritative positions, there really, in this show, never a moment when someone's like, I know exactly what to do. And that's what makes it so vulnerable and character-driven, is just that people trying to figure it out, which is just like us in the real world. And I think just the fact that it's not episodic, that it's more this 10-hour movie, you really get to delve into these characters in a very intimate way and learn much more about them in a shorter amount of time, which is really special. That we get to play with that and really give our all to these characters. Dream.
I got to feel things the Borg have never felt before. It's very, very, very personal for me and the storytelling, what happens, and it is applicable to the real world and real lives, and I think all our characters are dealing with things all of us deal with at any given day in our lives. So it is much more intimate than Next Generation.
My name is Yuki from CCXP.
Picard is a new series, but it comes from such a large universe with so much history and baggage. And how does it feel for you guys to get into something that has always been there and with such a large fan base with great expectations for this new show?
I'll tell you what I was thinking. Don't fuck it up. I mean, for me, there was a pressure, I think, for people that were coming back. I mean, I'll speak for, I know my friend Jerry and I were like, we had lots of conversations about, because the characters are going to the next level, and the fans are such a big part of the story of Star Trek, right? The fans saved the original series. It would have never made it to season 2 or 3 without fans that wrote letters. So we felt a huge responsibility to, yes, play Seven and Hugh as are written new, but also pay particular homage to the legacy of that without throwing it all away. You know, you don't want to do that. For the fans, really, that are our support system. So we felt a great deal of pressure. So.
I call it like a beautiful responsibility in a way, because from doing Hamilton, an American musical, and in a way, even though they're so different, they're musicals, that one's in the 1700s, this is in the 23. So it's very different in that respect, but being on tour with that show, people have been waiting to see that show for so long in the middle of America, just waiting for that 1 week when the show comes through town and they get to see it. And you feel such a responsibility to live up to their expectations and to give them the best product possible, because they have been dreaming of that moment. And in a way, it feels very similar and times 1,000 with this, because of the love that encircles all of Star Trek. But we were immediately welcomed with that love. No matter, you guys don't even know who we are, and you still have welcomed us with so much love, and that adds a certain amount of ease, because you know it's almost like you're trusting us to take you on this journey, and so it is a beautiful, beautiful responsibility.
Absolutely honored and humbled to be a part of it, you know. And I think what was sort of surprising for me is that when I first got it, you know, first you're like, yeah, you know, you're so excited, especially because I'm from procedural world and always like a cop. And I'm like, ugh, do I have to be a cop again? So I'm like, give me in space, wear comfortable clothes. But, you know, I had this interesting sort of flashback to my youth. And I remember being a child in my New York apartment with my parents. And my father, I'm mixed. My mom's white, my dad's black. And back in the day, you know, there really wasn't a lot of representation of us on TV. And I remember that Star Trek was the one show that my father would encourage us as a family to watch, because we were represented. It was the first show to have an interracial kiss. It was the first show to show different species, different people that look different together, and also different species and different people looking different and being pushed aside, and the injustice of that, and the struggle to make that right. And I realized in the moment of getting this job and having that flashback of how impactful Star Trek really is. I don't think I ever really realized that this is a show that has told all of our stories, continually tells all of our stories, and that's the reason we come back to it. And you don't even realize it. You know, it's not preachy. It's not like, you know, don't do this, do this. You know, you're sitting there, you're watching it, you're enjoying it, and at the end of an episode, you sort of go, oh my God, I think I've either just changed my mind, or I saw myself represented, or, you know, it gave me hope, you know? So I absolutely understand the, you know, juggernaut of this thing that we're a part of. I'm so humbled. I'm so honored. I love Rafi. I love the fact that I get to play, you know, I keep joking that, you know, in 2400, curls are still there. You know? They're still there, and that the shade is still there. Do you know? So yeah, it's an honor, and I embrace it fully, and I hope we do it justice.
Yeah, it's exciting. We've got people that are watch. It's great. You know, it's always good. You're always, you know, hoping to find an audience. And I think in the moment, I try not to think about too much of the responsibility, but now that it's actually happening and we're getting close, you know, and we're putting it out there, you know, we're traveling over the world, you realize, you know, the responses at Comic-Cons and everything, you of course there's an element of you know, of nervousness, but it's very exciting. You feel very privileged to be part of something like this.
Juanito Say from the Caracol TV from Argentina. We have two Latinos here. is that, maybe not in your case, but is that going to translate in any way to the show?
Yeah, I'm playing Latino in the show. So yeah, and I was encouraged. I mean, I wanted to. I was encouraged to use that and to bring it on, and things came out of it. And that's a testament to everything that Michelle was just saying about Star Trek, its history, and the world. You know, and it's adequate with the world we live in today. You know, to just the main thing is that it's an interesting character and it's an interesting story, and that you're welcomed. But what I was looking for is to be cast as myself more than, but then to be able to just bring who you are and bring your culture is great. So yeah.
Bueno, Hugh trabaja en una parrillada. No, Hugh no es Latino. He was not Latino, but it's been really fun to have my hermano here and the multicultural that we bring of ourselves as people that are, you know, from a different culture. I think you always bring that to your work when you're an actor, so it's exciting to represent South America, right?
For sure.
Space. It's not American space.
My name is Amanda. I'm from Cine Premier Magazine in Mexico. My question is for Lisa. Can you share with us a little bit more on how your character crosses paths with Picard?
Let me see. What did I already mention? I mentioned a girl.
She's a girl.
Not all I can say. No. It's a tricky question. I mean, the way that scene that you see in the trailer, when I say everything inside of me tells me that I'm safe with you. That's all spurred from a big tragedy, as I said before, that just kind of makes her lose sight or makes her question everything that she is. Makes her question her whole life and who she can trust, who she can turn to. And the fact that she feels that she's safe with this one man who she's never met before says a lot that I'm just gonna let you guys ponder for a moment. But that's really all I can say. I wish I could say more. Oh, there's so much I could say.
Yeah, I add something about the Latino thing. There is a theme in the show that I don't think I'm giving anything away, but I think we talked about immigration. There is a theme of migration and of otherism, people being put in places that are, you know, less than. And as an immigrant to America, I came to the United States when I was 10 from Uruguay. I experienced a lot of that, right? You do, and certainly in America now we experience it times 100. And so that is very much a part of the ethos of what's happening. So as a Latino, it's not that hard to tap into what it must be like to not fit, you know?
Hi, I'm Luciano from Notícias da TV. My question is to all the new guys. You can add it.
Am I an old guy?
You're a veteran. The franchise is so huge and the show is involved in a lot of secrecy. When you auditioned for your roles, were you aware that it was Star Trek, that it was Picard? How much did you know of the show in advance?
You know, I actually didn't know it was Star Trek Picard. I saw, I got it like a, you know, in my email, I had an audition that said, did it say drawing room? Or
Drawing room.
Yes.
Drawing room.
Yes.
And I'd actually just had an operation, and I was like, I'm not silly. I'm like, all right, let me read it. You get back and read the email. And I looked at the producers and I saw Patrick Stewart. I'm like, and then I read the character's description, and I kid you not, it's such a good character. It's just a complex, layered, you know, as we all are. You know, there's some, you know, truths, more truthful, even in the description as well as in the actual character development throughout the 10 episodes, of a human being than any other show I've ever, or any other part I've ever done, I feel. So yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing. I put myself on tape. I don't think I knew really that it was Star Trek until I sent that sucker off, and then my manager's like, you know what you just did? What did I just do? So yeah, I didn't know.
I had just finished the show produced by Secret Hideout, Alex Kurtzman and Heather Caden, called Salvation, and then so they called me pretty early in the process to say that they were putting this together and there was a part that they would want me to play. But, you know, okay, can I read it? And they said, no, you can't because we don't have scripts yet. So, but, you know, so then I had a really long conversation with Alec, and he just pitched me the idea of what they want to do. He said, this is like a Star Trek we've never done before, and of course, Patrick is doing it, you know, so it was just, and then Michael Chabon was involved as well in the writing to really kind of bring that novelistic approach. And it just, one thing after the other was just like, this is going to be good, this is going to be great, it's going to be different. So I just went from not knowing much to doing some research and being very excited and saying, I'll do it and I'll read it when it's ready.
Yeah, I was very, I found out it was Star Trek kind of early, but as far as the character goes, I was just as in the dark as all the fans and everyone is right how they are right now. I had no idea who I was until like the first day we started filming. Really, that's how secretive it was, which makes it a little hard to be like, who am I? but it's one of those things that just snowballs into like, okay, I'm doing Star Trek. Okay, I'm doing that. Oh my God, I'm that person. Oh my God, I'm this. And it just becomes, even to the last day of filming, you keep discovering new things and it keeps getting cooler and cooler, and you just ask yourself more and more, like, what is my life? But it's definitely one of those kind of projects.
Mais uma pergunta aqui, para depois encerrar.
Hi, my name is Ivanildo from Athletic, and I have a question for you. If you guys have a chance to be one character from Star Trek, like movie, TV series, or anything, what would it be? And why?
Picard. I like being the boss.
Q, I think, because he's just a lot of fun. There's a lot to play with. You know, he does a lot of different things. So I think, yeah.
So hard.
It's a hard
They're so
question.
all those good.
For me, it's a original spot.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
OG.
I was always just, also because I love Marina Sirtis so dearly that I just like, I always loved watching her, and like, I would have just wanted to be her for a second, because she was just, every time she walked on screen, I was like, this glowing goddess. She's beautiful. But yeah, I don't know, I was always a big fan.
That was smart to be my therapist.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you just want to tell all your life story to Marina Sirtis.
You wouldn't have to though. She'd just
No, she would just know.
She would know, right?